What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. And now with the new meta starting to shape up, we really got some dominating decks into this next meta. If you guys could you please subscribe to the channel, leave a like on the video, and I'm going to go over some of these decks with you guys right now. You guys know probably from the thumbnail, Amethyst is like really one of the dominating colors of this new meta for our new fabled meta. Amethyst is everywhere. Dumbo is selling for record high prices that we haven't seen in quite a while for a specific card. Obviously Blurple is one of the big decks in the meta right now that's dominating tournaments. We had two big tournaments over just this past weekend. We had the Ink tournament, which was like 200 and something players, and we also had the first of 4 of the CCS events that are happening down at the Charlie's Collectible card shop. And also Blurple was very dominant in that. That was probably a 400 and something player event. It's the first of 4. I was going to try to go to one of them before this whole meta kind of takes shape, but I kind of wanted to wait and see what was going to happen. So obviously Amber Steel, kind of not the Amber Steel that we kind of remember. We remember the Amber Steel songs. This is more of a hyper aggro kind of Amber Steel that is just everywhere. And then we have Amethyst Steel also, which is another big dominating color in this new meta. So as you guys can tell, Amethyst is everywhere. It's one of the strongest colors, if not the strongest color in this new format that we have. A lot of our other colors that we had, like, you know, Ruby and stuff, which was mainly control, just kind of lost a lot of its key cards that were helping it. Green, I think Emerald is still a big color also in the meta. I feel like there's still some decks out there that kind of people are still kind of playing around with that really haven't taken the shape yet, but are other good contenders like the Baja Blast. We got the Sapphire and Emerald combination, which I'm going to go over one of those decks today too. We're going to kind of take a look at that because I feel like that's another color that's got some real potential. But on the screen here, we can see first place deck from the Ink tournament, which was Amber Steel. And this is kind of the hyper aggro version of Amber Steel. So we can see we got the new Aurora. The key play here is you want to play the Aurora into the Tiana just to kind of get her down fast because she's going to stop people from challenging. They're going to have to pay more. And that's going to kind of give your daisies free reign to kind of quest early. Then you got your Nalas, and this is the way that I would build the deck too, with the early bodyguards, the big questers in the beginning. We can see this Bolt now is coming into the meta, where also I wanted to say that Rapunzel's Tower is a location that's in this deck, which I think is a cool inclusion because it gives your characters +3 willpower. So, you know, say you're playing down a Prince or a Jim Deer, you know, on turn 2, you know, maybe turn 3, you're paying to play down the Rapunzel's Tower, spend the 1, move your Jim or your Prince to this location, and now we're looking at a 7 or 8 willpower body card on the board that's just here to protect your Daisy or your Aurora, and they can just kind of quest out. So really interesting. I like this Pluto. I like the Snow White. You know, she can't be challenged. I Won't Give In is another interesting inclusion into the deck. It lets you go into your discard and return a 2 cost from your discard back to your hand. So you're able to bring back your pennies, your daisies, your docks, your Nalas. But I think the major thing here is to bring back your docks. I think Be Our Guest could be good in this deck too, because mainly with Be Our Guest, you're gonna go and look for your dock when you run out of cards. Um, Play the dock, maybe it gets banished. You play I Won't Give In, let you get your dock back from the discard. So very interesting. I do really like the look of this deck. And I can definitely tell why it's one of the top decks in the format right now. Second, we're gonna look at obviously Blurple, which I think is probably the strongest deck in the format right now. Obviously, if Hyper Aggro gets out to a dominating start, there's really no stopping it. It's been that way through all the metas. I feel like if the Hyper Aggro gets a great start right off the jump, then there's really no way to stop him. There's really no way to catch him. Blurple is looking very good with this Basil. You play out the Basil turn one. Maybe you ramp on two, with Tipo. And this support keyword is um very powerful in this meta, I feel like, because, later on you're able to quest with this. Maybe you have a genie out, or like I said, a Tipo. You're able to trade up, because now he becomes a 3/2. Genie becomes a 4/4. He can trade with other genies now. Even later on with your Elsa, Elsa being a 4/5, being able to tap something and take it out quick, get some damage on it. Then we have Belle also being able to move damage around. You've got Elsa's, you've got so many card draw options in this deck. I'm not a fan of Finders Keepers. I feel like it's a little too expensive for the reward. I feel like there's other good options. So I feel like maybe you don't have to play Finders Keepers in this deck. Um, Second Star to the right, I feel like is a better option because you can sing it. So the Sing Together 10, which can be costly, but definitely doable. I really like the inclusion of Madam M Elephant. When Madam M Elephant came out back in, I think it was set 5, I was looking at Madam M. I was like, wow, 3/7, it's a bounce. But there were just so many other good bounce options in the meta at the time that, you know, Madam M Elephant didn't get to really shine much as I had hoped. But being able to play Hades, bounce your Hades back. I think Dumbo and Second Star are the main card draw options that you really need in this deck. I don't know if you need much more. Into the Unknown, Hades, very good ways to help deal with the board. You absolutely got to have your sails and your T-pos for your ramp. Just being able to get things out on earlier turns is just such a strong thing in this current game. I feel like ramp is one of the main things that I like about Lorcana is just being able to ramp up to things that you shouldn't be able to play early. And I feel like ramp is just a very strong thing in this game. Um, but yeah, here we are with Blurple, and I don't know if there's going to be much to stop it until we get to this next format. I've seen some kind of tints or some hints about a new keyword boost, where it's letting you put the top card of your deck underneath that card to boost. I don't really know what boost is, but you're putting a card from the top card of your deck underneath the card that you're playing with the boost ability. So we'll find out more as we get closer to Whispers. Whispers will be out November 7th. So literally, normally it's like 3 months between each set. We're only going 2 months between Fabled and Whispers. So I'm sure we're going to see some stuff for Whispers very soon. TikTok was another big one in this deck that, 4/7 with evasive, and he's inkable. I mean, you just can't go wrong. On to Amethyst Steel. So this is kind of a different version. This was from the CCS. This is the first place deck. We're seeing a lot of Vanish characters in here, which Treasure Guardian makes a lot of sense because we are playing so many Vanish characters. We've got the Palace Guard, we've got the Raja, we've got the Giant Cobra. And what Treasure Guardian does is when you play a character that has the illusion keyword, you get to draw a card, or you may draw a card. So very cool. We still got the White Rose. White Rose is pretty much just taken over for Goat. Goat was pretty much that end all be all when you get to those games where you're 17, 18 floor and you're just trying to get across that finish line. So now we have the White Rose to kind of help us continue on that path. Obviously, with Amethyst, you can see that we're still playing Dumbo. We still got Genie. We still got Elsa. We still got Belle. These are the four, key cards that are in Amethyst that are helping this meta really shape up. Um, I don't know how much more card draw stuff you need here because I mean you got your Diablos for your early kind of replace itself. I always played Diablo 2 when I played even with when I played Amethyst Emerald. I was playing Diablos and kind of with the old Diablo that we've lost, but who knows? It could come back someday. We never know. Obviously, you have Doc, you have Dumbo, great card draw options. Hypnotic Strength also lets you draw a card. This lets you draw a card. There's just Treasure Guardian lets you draw a card. There's all these draw the card options that are really essential right now in the game because we don't have a lot of colors that can do the card draw. Calhoun is another card that I really like, letting you with the resist one and then being able to gain lore while banishing another character is very strong. Anything where you're banishing and gaining at the same time is very very strong. I like the inclusion of this Jafar. When you play him, another chosen character is challenger too. So you, like I said, you could give this to Calhoun. You play Calhoun on 2, you play Jafar on 3, you give the challenger 2 to your Calhoun, and then all of a sudden now you got a 5/2, which can answer a lot of things on your opponent's board. Genie, or not genies, but Dumbos you could take out an opposing player, even a Bell, so there's just so many different options. And then those are kind of the big three that we're looking at in this meta. Um, okay, so here was the Baja Blast that I was kind of talking about. We got Sapphire Emerald. This is another deck that I feel like got a lot of good potential. People have been playing it. It's been seeing some good results. Not the super crazy results we've seen with the other ones, but hey, it still probably needs a little bit of shaping. Obviously, we have Clarabelle. We're playing the Clarabelle shift. Clarabelle did see some play in the past metas, being able to draw cards to match your opponent. And say you're playing Blurple or something, and your opponent's drawing all these cards. Clarabelle is just a good option to help you kind of keep up with that hand advantage, playing against your opponent. So Baymax, another interesting inclusion. Um, the universal shift is nice because you are able to shift on pretty much anything that you want. And it says, oh yes, being able to heal. So if you use shift, you heal all damage. Also, you're welcome is another interesting inclusion here because you're able to bounce your own cards and draw stuff. Obviously, Under the Sea. Heads held high. I haven't seen this. Move up to 3 damage from any number of chosen characters. All opposing characters get -3. This is interesting. So sing together 6. Oh wow, that's cool. So you can remove damage, and it's kind of like what Kita used to do for Amber. Interesting. So play this, you play Under the Sea. And interesting. Definitely something cool being able to deal with some aggro stuff, I feel like. Meta. But obviously you're seeing in here, we got the Basils, we got the T-Pos, we got the Scrooge, the Aficionado, the 5/5 questing for 2. Good body. Clarabelle's for the shift. There's not too many items in this meta, I feel like, so this Basil is another good inclusion, I feel like, letting you have your opponent discard cards. So interesting. I do like this Heads Held High. I think this is an interesting card. Visions of the Future we've seen before. The other Basil, just be able to shift. We are playing the 1 cost, so you could shift him on turn 4. Interesting, very interesting list. I think it definitely could use some probably some polishing up, but I mean, it still made a top 4 in a CCS, so it was obviously good enough. But who knows? These people are a lot better players than I, and I'm still learning and I'm still evolving myself. I'm just giving my input on things. So, but very very interesting stuff. I think we got a lot of a lot of crazy decks in the meta. It's very one-sided. I feel like this time, but there's other things out there. I still feel like Ruby Steel could be a contender with that Mushu. Um, you got Scar out there, the new Scar from Fabled, where you're able to give your allies +1 and draw cards and banish. Another very strong card, I feel like, in this meta. So, Sapphire Steel is another deck I feel like could be doing well this meta with, Alice and Scar, the Growing Girl, and just a lot of things that I think are still shaping up to this meta that we're gonna see coming soon. So thank you guys for tuning in. I just kind of wanted to give my input on what I think about this meta so far. Kind of one-sided, but I'm gonna do some testing tomorrow with my friend, and we're gonna play some decks and see what's up. I got some spice already built, so I'm ready for the meta, and I'll be playing at my local soon. So thanks again, guys, for tuning in. Leave a like and subscribe to the channel. And as always, I will see you guys in the next video.